Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well this morning. It's Monday morning. It's kind of chilly here in Brasstown. Matt's got the stove going this morning. It makes me a nice warm place down here. We're supposed to have warmer weather, and I was even thinking over the weekend, well, if it's warmer, I could do my live outside on the porch. I really love to do it out there, but it's not that warm this morning. There's a big frost, so not that warm this morning. But they say that this week we're going to have warmer weather. It's supposed to even be, I've seen some days in the 60s, so that's going to feel like spring. It's like someone at church though yesterday. Lady told me, said, I said, we're supposed, she was talking about it was cold. I said, well, we're supposed to get warm weather. She said, I know, but it won't last. I was like, I know. She said, it's too early. It's not here for good. I said, I know, you're right. It's not gonna, even if we have a little warm spell like they're saying, it's not gonna be the end of winter for sure. It's just not that time. We all had a good weekend though. We're still living in the land of mud, but this warm spell that we have this week hopefully will dry some of that up. At least dry it up to the point that Matt can get on the tractor and scrape the driveways where the mud bothers you trying to come up and down. But it's okay. We all of our vehicles have 4-wheel drive except for Katie's, and we've just not been driving it through that mud. But it has been a good weekend though, so we hope that you had one and good week last week since I last talked to you here on the live. I hope that you had a really good week too. Everybody here's doing good. Granny's doing good. A lot of people have been asking about her since her brother Lucky passed away. She's awful sad, of course, and I know his family are too. But she's doing okay. The Granny's doing okay. The One day this past week, Corey and Katie went and kind of stayed with her a good long while with the boys, so she really enjoyed that, getting to see them, and everybody else is doing good too. Me and Matt are trying to. If you watched our video last night, we've got so many different irons in the fire. We're trying to work and try to get everything done so that we can think about planting and have all those things done. Our main thing is we want to do the shed, so we gotta worry about that, and all the details of that are still shifting, so I'm not sure. We're not going to give up though. We're just going to keep moving forward. As far as the videos this week, I have one that I finally cooked all that wonderful goodness that we got at Spud Shack from our video last week, so I have that video. And we're still cutting the trees in the garden. We got made another good stab at it, and then the next stab we make will get them all, so that's good. So be on the lookout for those. And then it's been so long, it's almost been a year, because the last live, I think I might be wrong, y'all can correct me if I am, but the last live that me and Matt were going to do at night, we were actually going to do it the day that Granny got sick really suddenly, like that evening. It just happened, really quickly, and so that I couldn't do it, and Corey did it with Matt, and I rushed down to Granny's, then rushed to the hospital, and then that started the 19-day hospital stay that we about lost Granny. Anyway, so it's been almost not hardly a year, but coming up on a year, because that was in the spring last year when that happened to Granny. So on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock, our usual time we do a video, Matt and I are just going to go live and chat with you. I know a lot of you, of course, enjoy the Monday mornings, and I really do. I really enjoy this. It's like we're just getting to visit with each other. But a lot of people have to work, and they can't do that. So look out for the live on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock with me and Matt, both of us. So that'll be our videos for this week. And of course, our reading. If you've not been listening to the Opal Myers history and family stories from her, I'm so thankful that Barbara, the author, did this wonderful labor of love. It's such a good book. It's such just heartwarming, and just gets better every week. So we've really been enjoying that. The people that have been listening, if you've not been listening, you might enjoy it. You might enjoy it too. And then the only upset of the last week is that a lot of me that people again are stealing our content and acting like it's there. So it's on TikTok this time. I'm not on TikTok. It happened last time on TikTok, and I reported them and they took it down. So I've reported these people again. But it's just really frustrating. I can't imagine why you would do that. I mean, I put myself in that, think, well, I'm a creator. Then when I go to somebody's channel and steal their video and then act like it was mine, I would never do that. Now, if I was going to, makes me think of the blind pig and the acorn, like over the years, if I was going to, maybe use a video from YouTube, then you embed it, or you give notice, you say, go here and watch it. So you're still giving credit to them. Or even like if you're, thinking about the, what do you call them, Chicago or whatever it is that you learn in high school when you got to do footnotes and credits and all that. So that if I'm sharing something on the blind pig and the acorn, like a quote or something, I put where it come from. If these people were saying, hey, this lady has a wonderful channel and you should go watch this video, I'm going to share it here, but go watch her, then I'd just say, okay, that's fine, because you're sending people back to me. But these people are pretending that it's theirs in one situation, because they've stole my face, and they're putting it up there. And so I was going to share, because if you are on TikTok, maybe you can go to their channel and say, hey, this is not your line. This is not Tipper. And I could then you're like, well, I just end up being on TikTok so that I can protect myself, but I don't want to. There's not enough hours in the day. I don't want to, that'd be one more thing that I would need to do. But one of them is Celebrating Appalachia. They've actually just stolen our name, and they've put like a little, not a hyphen, what do you call that? Not an ampersand, but something in the middle of the M dash, not an M dash because it's down below, but anyway, a little dash in there. So that's one of them, Celebrating Appalachia. And they're just putting mostly, unless they've added something else, it's the one video of mine that has the largest views of mine and Matt's, which is a vocabulary test with Corey and Katie. And then the other one is a channel called on TikTok. I don't even know if they're called channels, but a page or a person or whatever, Appalachian Food on TikTok, Appalachian Food. And it's got lots of different people on it. But again, they didn't ask me for my permission to do the video. So they've got my cube steak and they've got my kilt lettuce and they've broke it up and they're getting tons of views. And then the sad part is I can see some of it before TikTok will finally come up and say you need to log in or something, is a lot of people are saying, oh, I didn't know you was on TikTok. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're on TikTok. Well, I'm not. It's not me. It's not me. So anyway, frustrating when people steal your stuff. And like I said, then you think, well, my only alternative is to go become active on TikTok. And before it was Facebook. Facebook was really great. They just immediately took it down. TikTok, it took about a month and then they took it down. So really frustrating though when people steal they just are stealing it. But thanks to all of you, because if you didn't tell me, because I'm not on TikTok, I would never know. And there again, maybe I should go to all these sites every once in a while and search my name, but I don't have time for that. But thank you for making me aware of that. And I have reported them, and hopefully TikTok will remove the videos. I hope so. I just hate it because then, like I said, people in the comments I could see was like, I'm so glad you're here, and like asking questions and stuff, but it's not me. I'm not on TikTok. I don't do that. Anyway, so if you're on there and you can at least go and say, hey, this is not Tipper. This is stolen material. They didn't get her permission. They didn't ask. Anyway. Yes, an underscore. That's what it's called. That's what I was trying to think of. Anyway, if you could do that, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you are on there, and just, maybe that would make them think twice. The one thing is kind of, like I said, like they've just got all kinds of different Appalachian food. But again, they give no credit. I didn't see like where they said, go to Celebrating Appalachia on YouTube for more, or this is from, they had no credit. It's just on there, and they've put their own graphics over top of it. It's just theft. That's what it is. It's just theft. Anyway, that's frustrating. That was the only frustrating part of my week last week, though. And one of my friends on here at first made me aware of the first time is the Appalachian Storyteller. All of you love his channel. It's fantastic. But the frustrating part, like he told me, is then you have to, if you fight it, then that takes more of your time. Then you have all this time that you have to, when you report something, if you're claiming that they've stolen your material, copyright issues, all that, trademark issues, you have to fill out forms. You have to go get what is really yours to prove it. And somehow, they different ways of submitting how to prove it's yours. And then you have to go get all of those links where they're showing it and add them. It's just takes a while, which that's frustrating too, because who wants to do that when I could be outside in the garden, right? Anyway, frustrating to have your things stolen. It's a weird thing with online because I've never had anybody steal anything like personally, materially, I guess, but then online to have it happen that way. But it's bad either way. I remember when I was in high school, one of my teachers, her house was broke into and they stole jewelry and money and stuff like that. But I remember her telling our class that that was bad, and they lost because it was like jewelry that meant something to them, family jewelry and that kind of stuff. And of course they didn't want to lose their money, but mostly it was the terrible feeling of feeling violated. They had children, and thinking of somebody being in their house going through their stuff. That was the terrible feeling, was that. And I've certainly not had that. And I think that would be worse. But even this makes you kind of feel like, why me? Why are you picking on me? But then again, I think, well, why not? Why not pick on you? Because you're just like everybody else. Anyway, on a more positive note than that, I wanted to share with you something from that I've really, really been enjoying. I've talked about Doyle Dykes a lot, and Paul certainly has. And we did that wonderful train series with him, which was so great. But in the last little bit, his daughter, Haley, has started, I think she had this channel a long time ago and then kind of didn't post to it, but she started posting to it again. So I'm going to share it here. Haley is her name. And it is just wonderful encouragement, especially if you're a believer. She, gives kind of little devotionals, but it's also got beautiful, wonderful music from her family on it. And if you do follow Doyle, then he wasn't feeling this well this weekend. And Haley and her husband and her children did the string along for him, and it was really, really good. So you could go watch that too. Anyway, but check out her channel if you're interested in hearing some really good music, beautiful harmony, and then also hearing some really good, thinking about inspirational, especially if you're a believer, thinking about that. I still have, I have mugs, a few mugs. And again, now that they're back in stock, until they're gone, I will list them every Sunday is when I will list them. I'm trying to find here it is, my link. This is the Etsy store there. And you can find the mugs in there, the cookbook, of course, and the calendars. I just have a few calendars left if you're looking for an almanac calendar, but they're there. And then the mugs that are there, a few of them sold out overnight, but I always will put them in there on Sunday. So if you miss out on that and you're interested in a mug, next Sunday there'll be more there. And then also I have people asking about our just like t-shirts and stuff like that. You can find them at this link right there. And I'll put these links in the description below too. Another thing that I was going to say, thinking about those bad people stealing our stuff, last week in the live, there was someone, and I didn't see what they said, but there was I think they call those people trolls that are just saying mean stuff. But thankfully, all of you just took care of it and they were removed. So thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. I can't do both, talk to y'all and read all that. And I should have, like I used to have before Corey had Woodrow. Corey was my helper and she would help me with stuff like this. But thank you very much for doing that and for taking care of that. I really, really appreciate it. Paul's songs last week were really great. The first one was with, he did with his friend. I should go find, I didn't even think about that, but I could. Josh Griggs, our family friend, and Caleb Dykes, who's now our family friend too. But the last date, Paul didn't really do it. He let them play it, but it's really beautiful. If you remember that old Floyd Kramer song, it's really, really beautiful. And, let's see, what was I going to say about it? Oh, I was going to say I should go get, because I interviewed Josh at some point, and he's a very interesting man and a dear, sweet man too, and really good person. But I interviewed him back when I first started the blind pig and the acorn, started the channel here. Appalachian characters. Yeah, that was it. Let's see if I can get that link, and I'll put that in there. And you can see Josh. He wore his special. He's really funny. Wore his blue seersucker suit for that interview. It was hilarious. Anyway, I'd like to interview him again. People ask me all the time, would you interview Josh again? And I need to. So that's a really good one. And then the other one Paul did last week was another one with our friend Kurt Oxford, and it's a really great song, and you can hear him talking about why he wrote it, about struggling in many years past, but with addiction and the whole, what caused him to write the song, but the whole thought behind it and how that related to his life and to other people's lives that were struggling with that. One of his friends that he had. So you can watch both of those. They're really, really great. And then some of the same things I shared last week, I wanted to share again about this was the Vice Grip Garage that one of you made me aware of, thinking about those people still suffering from Helene. He's still raising money, and that's really great. And then there was if you live in that area, there was the information about actually helping clean up. It was like, there was pretty good money they were paying. Of course, you'd have to be able to do that, physically able to do that. There was the B-log relief that was like an Amazon list, so that makes it easy. You can just see what they need, and it'll go straight to them, and you don't have to worry about delivering it to somewhere if you're able to help with that. And then, of course, there's Wayne at Deep River and the Global Methodists that whole organization that are still helping those individual families, and they're still helping make sure that they have propane and those kind of things. And that's not going to let me do it. Let me try again. Try something else. And there was also the one last week. Oh, here's the one here. That, of course, you can find Wayne out here on YouTube. But there was that's the organization there that he works with. And there was also from Bud at the Appalachian Navy, the little flyer. And I linked to that last time, but I don't see my link. I don't know what's happened to it. But it's basically, if you're, thinking about Valentine's Day, if you want to do something special for Valentine's Day, it was a way to call. And I'll link in the description below when this is over to his flyer so you can go and read. But basically to help them with propane, and, you just call and pay for it over the phone. And then that kind of gives it, think of it like a credit account, so that then when they need propane to take to people, it's already paid for, and they can just go refill the propane tanks. They can just go refill them. So if you're interested in that, you can help. Still lots of needs in that area for sure. And people, I say the main thing you can do though is to pray, just continue to pray. This was the Bald Creek relief. And of course, the North Carolina Baptist and the Samaritan's Purse and folks like that are still really there, active and helping. So you can check those out too. I think we're down to the wisdom. So a few that I wanted to read was, let's see. Oh, I forgot about my little treasures. I'm like, why am I holding these? I was going to say more treasures that I found. I've still been on my kick of cleaning out stuff and going through the house. We all have been, and sharing what we can't use no longer with other people that can use it. And along the way, of course, I keep finding treasures. So this was one. I don't know if you can see or not. but it was that's Pap's handwriting. And that's when him and Matt were building houses. That's a house. So I know it's not mine because it has a cathedral ceiling. So I know it's not like any of our families. It's one they built, I guess, that they sold. Cedar siding, he's wrote. But anyway, he's marked out all the walls, and it's got a deck, and the porch got a big long front porch. And anyway, just because it's in his handwriting, is really sweet. And then I don't know if this went with that or not, but that's where he figured out all the costs. Now, what would be interesting is probably to look at this and compare it to today's prices. It would be depressing because it would be so much more. But let's see. I knew though, as soon as I seen it, you can see how he printed, but like almost square letters. So his handwriting, I can immediately always tell it was Pap's. But there was, just for instance, and I have no clue what this would be today, and I wouldn't have known in those days either because I don't know about stuff like this, but rafters, 2 by 10 by 20, and they needed 40, and that was going to be $960. Shingles and paper and labor was or $1,200. I bet that'd be way more than that now. Anyway, it's interesting. He's there's a sheetrock finished, so I don't know how big. I can tell how big. Again, I don't know if it went with this though or not, but the sheetrock finished was $4,000. I'm sure that's more than that now. Anyway, neat to look back at, I guess, the difference in prices, but also just treasures I didn't know I had there with Pap's handwriting, and where he'd figured, as we would say, Me and Matt have not remodeled or done much to our house over the years, but mostly we was going to start room by room. We did the girls' bathroom kind of, and when I say remodel, we just changed the vanity and painted and, just simple stuff like that. And then we were going to do the same thing in the kitchen. And after the kitchen, we decided that, when me and Matt built the house, we kind of went the cheapest route possible, which was really bad, like on the windows and stuff like that. And you've watched us, we replaced those since I've been doing Celebrating Appalachia, since we've been doing it. And, but other stuff we found out, even the cheaper thing from way back then was better than the more expensive thing we could buy today. So after the kitchen, we were like, we quit. We're just going to leave everything like it is and maybe spruce it up with paint or something, but we're not going to tear stuff out. But when we did take stuff down in the kitchen, that was one of the best things, was seeing where Pap and Matt too in different places. And even there was one place in my kitchen where, because so many people would come and help Pap, through the holler. And it was interesting it's where our dishwasher that we never ever used was at, back in there, where somebody had wrote, like, I can't remember if they wrote like built by Jerry Wilson or something, but then a lot of different people had signed their names in there. So that was great. Of course, we left that. It's inside. You can't see it now. It's covered up again. But I loved seeing places where, and when Matt and Daddy built houses, I would go, visit them sometimes, and I would see it. It'd be like inside a wall. Nobody would never see it, but they, instead of getting a piece of paper, they had wrote on the 2x4 or whatever it was, and like figuring out, stuff. So that's like, what is that show that used to be on, If These Walls Could Talk or something like that? Anyway, nice to find those treasures. And if you don't go through your stuff, I guess that's a lesson to me. What good are they doing if I didn't even know they were there? It's a treasure I kept, but I didn't even remember it being there. So that's something to think about when you're trying to get rid of stuff. Encourage you, I guess, to go through and really pare down to what you have, what you really want to keep, but what you could share with others, or maybe what you just don't need anymore. So I think we're ready for the wisdom. Let's see. And thank you so much for people that keep leaving the wonderful words of wisdom. It's so great. I really, really enjoy it. Okay. Oh, there was I'm going to link to that. I found on my phone the flyer from Bud. I will show you this. It's funny. It's I don't know if you can see it or not, but that's Granny drinking out of her mug. I had never give Granny one just because I would say, I told her I wanted her to pick out the mugs. Well, the other day when I went to get them from Rob, she was with me. I took her to a little doctor's appointment, and let's see if I can. Yeah, there's another one. I took her to a little doctor's appointment, And so I said, well, when I take you back home, now that we've got them, why don't we just go to my trunk and you go through and pick out a mug? And so she did. And I said, okay. And then we went inside. She said, well, don't you want to take my picture with it? And I said, well, yeah, I guess. So that was Granny's idea. So I took a few pictures of her drinking. There's nothing in it. We just got it out of the car, but she was helping me mark it, I guess. Granny was. Gotta love Granny. Okay, let's see. This was from Livy. My mama always said you live two lives. The first time is when you are placed into your grave. The second is the last time someone says your name. That's really powerful. I used to think about Aristotle and Michelangelo, but now I understand that my family loving me or expressing joy about me would be just as important as all of history remembering me. I really love that. Really love that a lot. And so true. That's I mean, like us telling the Pap stories, and I hope that even Ira and Woodrow will learn about Pap and know, that he was a good man and that he, all the things that was good, mostly that he loved the Lord is what I want them to know. But anyway, I really love that. Thank you, Livy. This is from Burke Spring. My personal be kind quote: always try to be kind. You don't know who tripped over their tiny ancient chihuahua or who was flogged by their big mean rooster this morning. That is a great one. That's good and very true. We don't know what other people are going through. And if you've ever been flogged by a rooster, that would make you have a bad day for sure. And we had one that flogged us so many times, me and Corey and Katie. Rex was his name. He was so mean and he was so big that we finally told Matt, we're never taking care of the chickens again unless you get rid of him. And so Rex went to live in Junaluska, up above Andrews in Junaluska with one of Matt's friends. This was from Lisa. I was watching, and I love this one so much, Lisa. Thank you for leaving it. I was watching a TV show and heard this bit of wisdom. Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. Now, that is one, the Quay Smathers quote, you go down the road talking to yourself. That is so wise and so something I need to do. So many times I want to fix something that I just need to let it go. I just need to let go and let God. I need to let God be in charge of fixing it. But that is so good. Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. Sometimes we do just need to leave stuff alone. Just leave it. So thank you, Lisa, for sharing that one. This is from M2LV. Elvis Music, M2 Elvis Music. We love you too, Tipper. Oh, very nice. God would never send a test to defeat us. That's from Mickey. God would never send a test to defeat us. I really love that one. Sometimes we might feel like that if we're going through a very hard time in life, but I love that faith. That's good, Mickey. Thank you. This is from Sainer. I'm remembering all my father's sayings. He was a Maine country boy, gone career Navy, so a world traveler. We also moved every 2 years. I can't tell you most of them, too colorful. Mom used to have a hard time raising us 4 kids, had 4 in 5 years, and before he'd go out to sea again, he'd tell us all sternly, listen to your mother. If she tells you to stand on your head and spit nickels, then you better be on your head spitting nickels. I've never heard that said by anyone else in my 62 years. Always wondered if he made that up. Could you ask the gang in the next live? Maybe someone reading will chime in. So please let her know if you have heard that before. Please. I love that. Listen to your mother. If she tells you to stand on your head and spit nickels, then you better be on your head spitting nickels. I love that. That was really, he wanted them to know no matter what their mother said, they better be listening. So please share if you've heard that before. That's great. This is from SHA 808. My granny used to tell me practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes permanent. I like that one. And I'm kind of an OCD person. If I can make something part of my routine, then it's hard for me to take it out. Like I've told y'all, I walk on the treadmill every morning. In the very beginning years ago, when I started doing that, it was hard. But now if I don't do it, I don't feel like my day started right. It's not that I'm perfect or in perfect shape, but I guess it made it permanent, my practice of doing that. So thank you for that one. This is from Susan. You can't change direction of the winds, let's see, I need to go back. I think there was another one above that. So this is from Susan. Wisdom, always remember to stay true to yourself and never let what somebody may say keep you from your goals. That's a good one. Um, a really good one. You can't change direction of the winds, but can always adjust your sails. So those are both really good ones. Thinking about being, no matter what you're doing in life, you do have to be true to yourself, because if you listen, you should take advice and think about it. I'm not saying that, and Susan's not either. But if you just, every time somebody told you you should do something, you just immediately changed course, you'd never get anywhere. You'd be going in circles. But two, you can always adjust as you go along, adjust your sails there. Those are good ones. Thank you. This is from Kelly. Words of wisdom: never take criticism from someone that you wouldn't take advice from. We've shared that versions of that one for several weeks, even months now, but that's a great one, because so often we let somebody criticize us and it really hurts our feelings. But then, like Kelly's saying, it's not somebody we'd even take advice from, that we'd even value their opinion. So then why do we value it about ourselves? That's a good one, Kelly. Thank you. I got a few more. Let me get to them. This one was from Marilyn Smith. Life really is about the little things. Eventually, they add up to a life well lived. I really love that, Marilyn. Life really is about the little things. Eventually, they add up to a life well lived. I love that. I'm somebody that really looks at the little things, from my warm, cozy bed I get to sleep in every night, to maybe my cup of postum in the morning, or I can see the blue sky over there out the window, all those things. So thank you, Marilyn. I really love that one. And this one, I think this is my last one, is actually from my Sunday school lesson for next week. So I was reading it this morning. So it says, it's the Sunday school lesson is about a Psalm 63, but this part is just from the person who wrote the quarterly. It says, my grandmother used to say, what's down in the well comes up in the bucket. What's down in the well comes up in the bucket. I've never heard that, but you can think of that in a lot of different ways, thinking about, you know, somebody, if they act one way but do something else, they're what comes after them, then you're like, well, that's fake or whatever. So you could think of it like that. But even you could think about it for yourself, like what I put in is what comes out. So I got to, as a believer, I've got to surround myself with the Lord, and I've got to stay in his word, and I've got to know that he deserves it all, and it's all about him. It's not about me, and all those things. And then it makes your life easier. You have more peace, more comfort. So lots of different ways to think about that. But I liked it. What's down in the well comes up in the bucket. That's a good one too. So thank you all so much for spending time with me this morning. I always enjoy it. Be on the lookout Wednesday night for me and Matt both to be in alive at 6:00 Wednesday night. If the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, as they say, but that's what we're planning on. And let's see. Oh, I noticed somebody else said about the TikTok people. What was their actual names? So you don't have to go back and see that again. I'll tell you. One of them was Celebrating Appalachia with the underscore. Thank you for telling me that was an underscore. And then the other one was Appalachian Food. So if you are on there, you could just look on the ones they're sharing of me and say, this is not Tipper, you stole her material, whatever. And I did report both of them. So hopefully TikTok will take them down. Last time it took about a month before they did, but they finally did. So thank you for helping with that. Thank you for all you do. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be sitting here this morning by the wood stove talking with you, So I thank you so much for all you do for us, for me and Matt and Corey and Katie and Austin and Woodrow and Ira and Granny and Paul and all of us. We really, really appreciate you more than you'll ever know. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. We love you all. Bye-bye. And thank you, Jay. Just saw that. Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Y'all have a great week.